What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the North Shore 9 postgame show powered by Primanti Bros. I'm Jim. With me today is Tyler. Tyler's day 2 of the Don Kelly era. He gets ejected in this one. But the Pirates fall in 11 innings, 3-2. And honestly, some questionable managing down the stretch. So I'd love to kind of talk about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But you're kind of on your third string manager at that point. But I think there's still plenty of things that we can discuss in this one. But how are you doing this Saturday evening?
I mean, that one's kind of a letdown. Felt like it should have been a win. And like you said, some questionable decisions. I think it was a little bit of a mixed bag. Coaching-wise today, I thought I liked some of what Donnie Kelly did. I didn't like some of what he did, but I really didn't like a lot of what the guys did after him. We'll talk about some of that. It comes down to one thing again. They can't hit the baseball. That's really the overarching theme. They can't hit the baseball.
Yeah, I mean, they had 11 innings and they scored 2 runs, right? And that's all they could muster up. 2 of those innings, they started with a runner on second, and they got 0 on both of those innings. Yeah, a lot. I mean, for a 3-2 game, ton of action in this one. So we mentioned the Don Kelly ejection. Bryan Reynolds was also ejected in this game. Oneil Cruz was pulled for an injury, so we'll talk about that. Hopefully, it's not too bad. But yeah, whole lot to going on here. Way back when this thing started, Andrew Heaney took the mound for the Pirates. He ended up, giving up the lead in the second inning. It got to 1-0 Braves, then 2-0 Braves in the third. But the Pirates did a good job, I thought. Kind of crawling back into this one. They scored a run in the third, scored another run in the 8th to tie it up at 2. And you felt like momentum was kind of shifting in their favor at that point. But then not being able to get anything, they had plenty of opportunities in those later innings to win this game, and they didn't execute when they needed to. And ultimately, they lose. Braves score in the top of the 11th. They lose 3-2. But where do you want to start with this one? Do you want to start kind of towards the end there? Do you want to kind of talk about Heaney a little bit? What do you want to do here?
Yeah, let's talk about the end there, because that's where all the action was, and that's the most fresh thing on the brains here. Because the Heaney start feels like it was about 3 days ago.
It does. We'll get to him because I thought he did a good job settling in after those first couple innings. But yeah, I mean, I guess we can kind of start with the 7th. At this point, it's still 2-1. Alexander Canario leads off the 7th with a double, and you're like, okay, here's a chance right now to tie it up. They just need to get this run in. Jared Triolo. This is after Don Kelly has been ejected, by the way. Jared Triolo is asked to bunt in the bottom of the 7th with no outs and Alexander Canario on second. Before I ask you this question, Tyler, on what you thought about this, he pops it up to the pitcher. But going into this at bat, Jared Triolo hadn't completed a successful bunt since he was in college at the University of Houston way back in 2019. So, what do you think about that decision right there to bunt? It didn't work out, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so obviously when it doesn't work out, everyone's going to be against it. And I think the general consensus in general is not to bunt a lot of times. I'm more of a proponent of bunting personally. Now, here's my issue, and here's where I think I will agree with you in the situation where I don't like the move of bunting Triolo here. And I don't like it for the reasons you just mentioned. He hasn't done it. And when he hasn't done it, he looked like he's never done it. So you're putting a guy in a position to do something he doesn't do well. One of the bigger problems, I think, as well, is that you apparently don't work on this enough if some of your team just cannot lay bunts down. That's an organizational problem.
Well,
And I'm
that
not
kind of
throwing it
goes
on
back to
Johnny
this. Like
Kelly.
how, like Jared Triolo, his the bat was never going to be this guy's calling card in the major leagues. So I guess my question here is, how in the hell has Jared Triolo gone 6 years of playing, minor league baseball, 5 years of playing minor league baseball, and he's never bunted? What the point of the minors is to make sure that
Right.
they're prepared for the majors. How is that a tool that's not in Jared Triolo's tool bag?
Right, especially with a guy like Jared Triolo, who is fundamentally sound all across the diamond in the field, and you're telling me we can't teach this guy to bunt? Like, his role coming through the minors was gonna be a utility baseball player. Utility baseball players know how to bunt a baseball. It That's the
I don't
big
get it.
problem, I think, is that, like, just the fact that he can't bunt, why?
Yeah,
Why can
yeah.
you not bunt?
And
Now
I do and I know this is gonna like upset people because all of us played little league baseball and bunting was like a thing that we did a lot. I will say this, guys, it's hard to bunt like 92-mile-an-hour sliders. It's hard to bunt 99 up and in on you. It's just not a part of the game as much anymore. Like, let's be real.
Mhm,
Players aren't asked to do it very often. And so when it comes to asking maybe certain types of players to bunt in situations, I think it's dumb. Like asking Andrew McCutchen to bunt, is probably a stupid idea. He hasn't done it since Barack Obama's first term as president. That was the last time he did it, right? So we're like asking him to bunt in this situation is stupid because Andrew McCutchen isn't out there bunting. He's not practicing it. He can't do it anymore. And it's like there's going to be a time where yeah, like it's not on the player. The player is not going to learn to perfect something because if they're never asked to do it. Like if I'm a baseball player and I only have limited time to hone my craft, I'm not going to do something that I'm never asked to do. Okay. So I think that's my
mhm.
that's my spiel there on bunting. Now, I think there's certain times for bunting. I don't think in the 7th inning there, trailing by 1, you've got 9 outs left to give in the game, and you have someone who hasn't done it in 6 years. Probably not the best case. But I'm with you. Like this is an organizational thing. Like Jared Triolo should know how to bunt. So I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, but the call in that situation, I completely disagree with. I don't think you can make that call to make Jared Triolo bunt in that situation. I think there's a comment in here, I kinda lost it. It was Howard. Brings up, it's especially hard to bunt against a guy who throws over 50% curveballs, and he was facing Pierce Johnson in that situation, who to this point has thrown 70% curveballs this year. And that's pretty much all Jared Triolo saw was that 12-6 looping curve. That is a tough pitch to get down. That's why he ended up popping up.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't like using him to bunt in that situation just because you should know he does not have that in his tool bag.
Yeah. Either way, bunt pops up. Oneil Cruz, they bring in the lefty. Cruz strikes out. And then this is the situation where it's like, okay, Bryan Reynolds, you've got to make this team pay for bringing in the guy who's designed to get Oneil Cruz out. Bryan Reynolds strikes out looking, and then he's ejected after that for arguing. I think it was a borderline pitch. It was a 50-50 pitch. You could have gone either way with it. I think the Pirates. I am interested to see like what the ump scorecard is on this one because I do think the Pirates were sort of screwed a little on balls and strikes throughout the game. This umpire was kind of all over the place, and it's why Don Kelly was ejected in the first place. But in that situation, like I'm sorry, if it's a 50-50 pitch and there's 2 strikes on you, you've got to just battle it out. Like you've got to be a tough out. We had Jack Wilson on the show 2 weeks ago, right? And he was talking about chase rate. It's like, well, guess what? If you let a borderline pitch go, and the umpire calls it a strike, that means you looked at a strike. Like that's the umpire.
Right.
The umpire is deciding that that's a strike. So if it's close like that with 2 strikes in a situation, I'm saying you gotta fight. And so Reynolds, he had a rough game
He
today.
did. Yeah,
I can
I think
understand why he was frustrated.
right. I think that frustration boiled over because he got tossed. I think walking back onto the field in between innings. Was he coming back on or coming off?
I'm pretty sure he got ejected like after the at bat. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
during a commercial break.
yeah, it was during the commercial, but the pitch was it. According to MLB.com, it's probably a strike. The K zone, it looked like a ball. I mean, it's one of those borderline ones. I'm with you. You probably that late in the game, you don't want to take that pitch. 2 outs, 2 strikes. Bryan Reynolds knows better than that. And like you said, he had a rough day. He was rough in the field as well.
Yeah, it was a rough day for Bryan Reynolds. So, so that was that was the eighth. That was the bottom of the seventh.
That was just one inning.
That was just one inning. Yeah, we still got more to go here. Bottom of the eighth, Andrew McCutchen grounds out, but then the Pirates get something going. Joey Bart with a single. Joey Bart, outstanding offensive performance today. He went 4 for 4. Defense, not so much.
Yeah.
But offensively, 4 for 4 today. Ji-hwan Bae runs for Bart in this situation. Good call. Steals second successfully. It worked out. Brian Hayes moves him over to third on a ground out. And then Matt Gorski with just a little dribbler up the third baseline, and Bae ends up scoring. Riley throws it into the stands. But then you also have another opportunity here. Bases are loaded after a Adam Frazier intentional walk. Alexander Canario walks. So you've got Triolo up again, and he pops up. So it was frustrating there. It was nice to tie the game, but like that was an opportunity to win the game right there. And they had a few chances and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, you need more out of Triolo at the plate. I mean, plain and simple, that's what it comes down to. He just didn't get the job done, and he struggled at the plate this year. Nothing really to point out about the at-bat. It's just he popped the ball up, and he didn't drive a baseball when you really need him to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, plain and simple, they just didn't execute. I think they were 2 for 18 with runners in scoring position today. Like that's a lot of opportunities that you didn't come through. So that was the eighth. Heading to the ninth, because again, the Pirates bullpen I thought did an outstanding job today. Yeah. Santana gets a 1-2-3 ninth inning. Hernandez for Atlanta was all over the place. He had walked those 2 batters in the first inning, and then in the bottom of the ninth, he walks Cruz, he walks Pham, and this is where it's like you had people saying maybe Cut should bunt here or someone should bunt here. It's like no, but it didn't work out. It didn't work out for the Pirates. McCutchen grounds him to double play. Henry Davis grounds out. Just another poor execution all around. Once you had your chance there in the ninth.
Yeah, and just to note something from that inning, going into the 10th inning, I think if you're Oneil Cruz in that spot, my brain, if I'm him, I'm thinking I'm trying to walk this thing off right now because I'm Oneil Cruz and I'm the best player on this field. I like that in the situation he's in right now where he is struggling at the plate. He's striking out more than everyone would like. I think a lot of that is he's getting rung up on some pitches that are a little bit borderline. I don't think he's doing anything that's making me concerned at this point. But back to my original point, what I really liked there was he wasn't chasing in that spot. He was still letting the at-bat come to him. He didn't change his approach in that situation. He gets a walk there. That's exactly what you need from Oneil Cruz because what he ended up doing, he hits on second base. He should score in that situation. Just didn't come. The other guys didn't come through. But I liked that at bat from Oneil Cruz a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's a situation where in the past, like he's overly aggressive and he strikes out. Like he that's just we've seen that at bat from Oneil Cruz 100 times before. And his newfound approach this year is definitely nice. And so yeah, he walks there in the ninth to give the Pirates a chance. But yeah, people behind him they just aren't coming through. He's on base way too much, and he's just being stranded. Yeah, if he's not stealing second, like which he tried doing there, and it was a walk, but if he's not stealing second or driving in the runs himself, it's tough sledding these days.
Yeah, that I think that's the really frustrating part is that he's always on second base when he gets on, and he's just not scoring enough.
Yep.
But
on to the 10th. Caleb Ferguson in with the runner on second. He hits Verdugo with the pitch to lead off the inning. Sets up the double play nicely, which he gets. Austin Riley grounds in double play. He intentionally walks Ozuna, and then Matt Olson flies out to center. So a really, really good job there, which takes us to the bottom of the 10th. Again, another opportunity to win this game. This, Tyler, is the perfect opportunity for a sacrifice bunt. Tie game, runner on second, nobody out. You just need one run. You need one run. And Brian Hayes lays down one of the best sacrifice bunts I've seen someone lay down on this team in years.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
I did not like the sacrifice bunt in this situation.
Okay, let's talk about it. I mean,
Brian Hayes, no, it did not. And it's not that I didn't like it because it didn't work. But Brian Hayes at this point had been hitting the ball hard the other way. I think you have a decent chance of moving the runner over in that situation, no matter what, with Brian Hayes' approach.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, at that point, you still have the opportunity for him to get a base hit, and you probably you got a pretty good chance of scoring a run there because you have Henry Davis on third or on second. He runs decently well. Aside from that, you have Matt Gorski coming up. Very limited experience, big swing and miss guy. You're probably looking for a sac fly in that situation. Good chance you're not getting a sacrifice fly from Matt Gorski. He swings through the baseball too often. You got Frazier after that. He's up with 2 outs. I mean, it is what it is, but that's not what ended up happening. Gorski ends up hitting the little dribbler that. Let me ask you this, Jim. Can we just ban the contact play in general, at least when the ball's hit to the left side? Because I jumped ahead there, but what happened? Matt Gorski gets up after the sacrifice bunt, hits a dribbler to third base. Davis is running on contact, gets thrown out at the plate because he's running into no man's land, trying to get in the throwing lane.
Which was the right thing to do at that situation.
It really was.
Yep.
But can we get rid of the contact play when the ball's hit at least to the left side of the infield? I've never seen this thing work.
So I have. I mean, it works sometimes. It does work sometimes. Yeah, man, this is a tough one because there's data involved here, right? And I don't have access to all of this data. Someone smarter than me has made the decision that running on contact is the right call because the Pirates do it every single time. Like that's their strategy. Their strategy is to run when the ball's put in play on the ground with the infield drawn in. And like I said, I do remember some specific times where it has worked out. But more often than not, you see that it doesn't. So the times that it doesn't work stand out in your mind quite a bit more because they're just more memorable. And this was one where, yeah, I mean, Henry Davis was dead in the water. He had, and I don't really know what Greg Brown was talking about when he was like, I don't know why no matter what Davis was doing on that play, sliding, going wide, he was dead. He was out by 15 feet.
Right. He
did the one thing that gave him a shot, which was try to get hit by the baseball. Like that was his only chance. And that's what he tried. I lean more towards be aggressive when you've got that runner on third, especially when you have a team that's so incapable of hitting the way the Pirates are. Like I think there's a payoff to putting the pressure on the defense. Again, it didn't work today, and we've clearly seen it not work multiple times before. And the times that it doesn't work all stick out in our heads. I'm just asking, like, if you're gonna, no, I get it. Like, if you're gonna be aggressive, I think you've got to be aggressive, and you can't just pick and choose your times to be aggressive. Like you've got to be aggressive all the time if that's your strategy. I'd have to really deep dive into the numbers to know is it worth it or not? Because here's the deal. I mean, who was batting after Gorski? Adam
Frazier, who had a single.
He did have a single
where Davis would have scored.
He did have a single. So Adam Frazier, though, is batting .223 on the year.
Right.
Which means he singles 22% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you take your chances just going when you've got a guy who gets a hit 22% of the time behind you?
But this all leads to my original point of I don't need Brian Hayes bunting there because I have more faith in him getting a hit in that situation than I do Gorski or Frazier. I know Frazier ends up getting the hit, but I'm putting my faith in Brian Hayes to hit the ball the other way, get a single, and Henry Davis, you score a run there.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Because Frazier does put the ball in play, which is at least a plus. He does do that most of the time. Gorski, yeah, you could look at the players behind him and say, you know what, Gorski strikes out a lot. Maybe not the best guy to just try to move something over with, but that's not one of the decisions that I'm not that upset with, to be honest. It is what it is, and that's baseball. I think at that point it's more on the players not executing. Like that's on Gorski for not lifting the ball, and that's on Gorski for swinging at the first pitch and rolling over and hitting a 50-mile-an-hour two-hopper right to the third baseman.
It actually went 99.6, which shocks the hell out of him. I don't know how that happened.
No, well, there you go, 99.6 right into the ground.
Yeah, went right into the ground. And it's an inside pitch at his knees that he has no business swinging at in that situation.
Yeah. So on to the 11th we go. This is another thing where I like if there's a manager in the dugout, maybe this doesn't happen. Because in the 11th, first off, Shugart comes in. He's kind of throwing the ball all over the place, but he's sort of being effectively wild at this point. He gets a ground out, gets another ground out when the Braves didn't go on contact, by the way. So it worked out for them this time. Harris is intentionally walked, but this is where the wild pitch happens. So Shugart throws the ball behind the batter. Replay looks like it hit the guy's head. It looks like it bounces off the guy's helmet, Tyler. And you could tell that Strom was in the dugout on the phone with somebody, but the Pirates don't make a fuss about it in time. It's too late to challenge it. I don't know why this wasn't looked at, because this is a play where if you challenge that, or if you're like, hey, I need you to look at this. And I know the challenge rules are weird, especially like in late in games, but like this is a huge situation in this ball game. That ball looked like it hit him in the helmet.
Yeah, it was hard for me to tell for sure if it hit him in the helmet, but
it warranted another look though.
Exactly. That's the big thing. You got to stop the game in that spot. Someone's got to go talk to the umpires there and beg them for a review. I kind of lean that I don't think it did hit his helmet, just based on Henry Davis's reaction, the way he got up so quickly.
I think it did hit the helmet.
And it very well might have, but we would know for sure if we would have gotten the damn review.
Yep.
So I'm with you. Like at the very least, you have to look at it in that situation. And Brent Strom's probably not the guy you want on the phone talking the replay, because he's kind of a dinosaur in this game.
Yeah,
he doesn't know what replay is yet.
That's ageist. We're gonna get hit with some ageist suit.
Very
Tyler.
true.
Doug's gonna come after us. All right. Well, either way, run scores. Shugart gets out of it with just the one run, but then we head to the bottom of the 11th. Triolo does execute a successful sacrifice bunt, and this is where again I was cool with it in the 10th. The 11th, I'm not. I don't like giving up an out when you are losing. Like you have 3 outs. You have 3 outs. And you're moving Canario over to third for Liover, Peguero, and Tommy Pham. You need all the chances you can get here. I don't love this call. Triolo actually executes the sacrifice bunt, so it's his first ever professional sacrifice bunt. Jared Triolo in his 6th year of pro ball. So they make it happen in the bottom of the 11th in a game where they're let down by 1. So again, another bad call. Didn't like it. Peguero strikes out looking on a ball that didn't look like a strike. But again, same thing. Like you can't go down looking there. And then Tommy Pham ends it, grounding out to second. So
yeah, this was the bunt that was really like, I don't like this one at all. You're losing the game in that situation. You don't move someone over for Liover, Peguero. I know we don't have the most faith in the world of Triolo at the plate, but at that point, you're giving yourself a 1-in-3 shot for one of these guys to get a base hit and tie this game up so we can keep playing. You just change your odds completely. It's not a good baseball decision. I don't think the math likes that move. I don't think old school baseball minds would like that move. I don't think new school baseball minds like that move. I think it's just the wrong call there. Yeah,
I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Like I said, not a fan of giving up 33% of your outs when you're losing. I mean, you're just giving them up at that point. Just let him put the ball on the bat on the ball and see what happens. But yeah, that's how the game ended. Do we want to talk about the rest of it? I thought Andrew Heaney, again, he looked real shaky his first 3 innings. He was leaving some balls up in the zone, was getting hit really, really hard, gave up those 2 runs early on. But I thought he settled in really nicely, kind of the second, third time through the order. And he ended up putting together a quality start, 6 innings, 2 runs. I don't think he walked. too many, walked 3, gave up 4 hits, 2 strikeouts. So it was at the end of the day, he gave you kind of what you needed to be in this game. I thought, like I said, I thought he did a really good job of just kind of settling in.
Yeah, I did too, and it was nice to see him kind of bounce back after a couple not so good outings. He's faced some good lineups here his last couple times out. The fastball, I think, played a lot better today than it has recently. He ended up mixing the changeup in a lot more as the game went on, which I liked. He looked like a veteran that knew how to get through a lineup today, and it was just really nice to see him bounce back, have a good outing. You want to see a little bit more swing and miss out of him, I think, but he's not the swing and miss guy that gets 9 strikeouts in a game like he did earlier in the year.
Yeah.
But all things considered, he put together a nice outing.
Yeah, and I mean, he 82 pitches. Matt says here, like, hey, he could have come out for the 7th, I think, too. Like, he was kind of in a groove there. I wouldn't have had a problem with that. That was, again, after Kelly had already been ejected. So Mike Rebello made that call to pull him. And I don't know if that necessarily changes anything. It probably saves just one other bullpen arm, potentially, but probably doesn't change the outcome of this game too much. But yeah, I thought he looked good, and again, I was a little worried because after Matt Olson homered there in the 3rd, like he had been giving up some hard hit balls those first couple innings, and I was like, this has a chance to kind of go off the rails here again because he hasn't looked good his last couple of outings, and he was getting hit hard today. But then, I thought he did a really good job just bouncing back and settling in, and he was able to get through 6 rather efficiently. So.
Yeah, I was okay with pulling him when they did, to be honest with you, just based on how he had been hit earlier in the game. Honestly, also, I just wanted to see Tanner Rainey get some work because I've been interested in him since spring.
Tanner Rainey does get some work. Pitches a scoreless 7th. What do you think about him?
I like this guy for some reason. I don't know, like he gets swings and misses well. It seems like right now he locates pretty well. There's just something about him I kind of like, and I don't know what it is. Maybe he was just good on my MLB The Show franchise for a year, and I really bought into him. But no, his 2 outings so far this year, I thought he's looked pretty good. He's a guy I'm keeping my eye on. Judging by the face that you're giving me right now, you're not that intrigued by Tanner Rainey.
No, I'm not.
That's fair.
Which he's been good since. I mean, this is was this his 2nd game?
I believe so.
So I mean, he's pitched 2 scoreless innings so far, and I mean, he had a good outing today. It's not like he didn't pitch well. I thought he pitched really well today. I don't know about like long-term sustainability for Tanner Rainey. Like, I still think the stuff is very okay. Like, it's not like he doesn't have anything that jumps out at me as like a really good pitch. The slider, he threw 11 of those today, and that was clearly his best pitch. He got 2 swings and misses on it. And he kept the ball away from the fat part of the bat for the most part. But yeah, there doesn't really seem to be anything special that jumps out at me about him.
I mean, nothing really special jumps out about Dennis Santana to me either. And
yeah, Santana's slider is really good. But like with Rainey, I'll say this: like the fact that he's like your 12th option out of this bullpen, it seems like he's pretty good for that. Like he's a step above the 12th, 13th options that we've seen in the past. Under this team. I mean, he has major league experience. He's got big time playoff baseball experience. Like he knows what he's doing out there. I don't think he's the same pitcher now that he used to be. But hey, if he's hot, he's hot. Ride it.
Yeah, that's fair. And if I want to say one more thing I kind of liked about all of it, and maybe using Rainey, is we didn't see Colin Holderman today. I like that, man. I like that coaching decision. Yeah. In a game like this, I like that we did not see Holderman.
Yeah, Colin Holderman shouldn't be pitching in close baseball games.
No,
and he didn't pitch in this one.
And I'll be honest, if Shelton's the manager, I think he might have.
Maybe.
We'll never know, but
because Holderman was very fresh. He's very fresh right now.
Right. So it was a spot, especially with extra innings, that I think normally he would have been used today. I like that they did not like him, or not like him, did not use him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it still didn't work out.
I thought Bednar looked great again, though, too.
Yeah. Yeah. His fastball looks like it's got its life back. And a lot of that, the curveball looks awesome too. Like he's
Yeah.
able to flip that over for strikes right now, and he's not leaving it in the fat part of the plate. So
Yep.
he's kind of just got rid of the splitter a little bit. He still
Yeah, and
uses it, but
he only threw one of them today. But yeah, he basically got 4 outs. It was like 4 up, 4 down
yeah,
because Joey Bart just with one of the worst throws I've ever seen on a throw to first that
it was lazy.
yeah, guy got on base for. That's a whole other conversation, and we're already 30 minutes into this thing. But no, I thought Bednar, Santana, Ferguson, like I thought the bullpen did a great job today, and even Sugar, he gives up that run in the 11th, but like he was wild, and I think that ended up costing him. Like, but if I think that ball hit that dude in the head, which again, it's not good to hit a guy in the head, but if that ball hits him in the head, we're still playing baseball right now. It's still 2-2.
Yeah, that is true. Sugar just didn't have his fastball command, I feel like.
That was all over the place.
His fastball was everywhere. He had command of the slider, and that was about it. And I mean, I kind of like Sugar. He's fine. Like he's been okay.
He's fine. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good way to put it. Like he's completely fine.
Yep.
And he's gotten some big outs and big spots so far. Yeah,
he has. And you need guys that are fine.
On this team, I'll take fine.
Absolutely.
Oneil Cruz, there is an update on there for everybody who heard that. So Oneil Cruz is day-to-day with low back tightness. Day-to-day with low back tightness. So that's better than what I thought. I was worried it was going to be like a leg muscle hammy type deal. So low back tightness day-to-day. So maybe gets a day off tomorrow. And I am curious to see what happens tomorrow with this lineup because Kelly was preaching kind of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
There were some stupid things in this game. I thought. So I'm curious to see how he responds there. I mean, like I said, Bryan Reynolds had an atrocious game, just atrocious. Misplayed 2 balls in the field that led to the Braves' first run of the game. Didn't do anything offensively. Got ejected.
Yeah,
That's a big spot. Like if you're
can't get ejected
there, yeah, he gets ejected there, and because he's ejected, Tommy Pham gets 2 plate appearances late in the game with things on the line instead of Bryan Reynolds.
Tommy Pham made the last out of the game. Yeah, Bryan Reynolds can't get ejected there. Not in that situation. And they gave him a little bit of rope too.
Yep.
You just can't get tossed in that situation. You got to be smarter.
It's a 1-run game. It's the 7th inning.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stay in the game.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Joey Bart 4 for 4, great offensive night. But again, that throw was terrible.
Not a great
Brian Hayes, even Brian Hayes. Like I don't like getting on Hayes too often because he does seem like he's like the one fundamentally sound guy on this team. But that throw by Nick Allen that was kind of high and got Olsen off the bag. If Brian Hayes was busting it down the line there, and it was the 8th inning at that point of a 1-run game, Hayes is safe. And we're talking about a different game or in a different situation. So
I'm glad you brought that up because I wondered if it was just me thinking that he did not look like he put maximum effort into that.
Yeah.
And it looked like he slowed down when he jumped as well, which in all honesty, when he jumps, he probably should dive head first.
I'm okay with like I feel like
that's
decision. Yeah, that's like a split second thing. I'm okay with that, but it did seem like he wasn't running his hardest. And I'm okay with you not running your hardest every time during a 162 game season. There's some situations where, you know what, don't run your hardest. I'm cool with that. But in the 8th inning of a 1-run game, run your hardest.
Right. And at the very least, I think he definitely slowed down closer to the base as well. And he just didn't bust it.
So I'm just curious what the lineup looks like tomorrow. Like, were me and you the only ones who noticed that? Someone else notice it who has a lineup card? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up though, because it's one of those things through the game. I was like, I don't know if that was really maximum effort or even like a 90% effort. That was a little lackadaisical.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if anything's changed.
We'll find out. And it's going to be tough too with all the injuries right now. You got Cruz down. Reynolds will probably
is.
have to be in the lineup. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
We will. I guess we're doing this whole Carmen Majinski thing again tomorrow, though. Carmen Majinski against Chris Sale, so a pretty even matchup.
Yeah, I'm expecting a pitcher's duel.
1:35 start time. We'll be there. I think it's me and DiNardo tomorrow. But yeah, Pirates lose today 3-2. They dropped to 13-27 on the season. Bryan Reynolds ejected. Don Kelly ejected in his second manager, in his second game as manager. So, anything else you want to add?
No, let's just turn it around tomorrow. I think there's a little bit of life in this team right now. It seems like there's a slight pulse. I don't know how long it lasts with the managerial change. These things aren't going to last forever, but I'm interested to see how this week plays out.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, I think keep us interested and engaged all season. That's just really what I want. Like, let's just be playing baseball that I want to watch.
Right.
That's all.
In order to do that, you got to hit the ball.
Got to hit the ball. That would be nice. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody joining. Everybody in the chat, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're watching or listening after the fact, you guys also rock. Again, we'll be back tomorrow with the post-game show. Pirates lose. We're out.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
All right, that wraps up this episode of North Shore 9. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whether you're listening on the podcast or catching us on YouTube, if you enjoyed the show, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps us grow. And if you're listening on the podcast, a quick review goes a long way in helping others find the show. Plus, be sure to tell a friend about us. There's always room for more here in the NS9 community. And for those looking to support us a little more, consider joining our Patreon, become an MVP member, and get exclusive perks while helping us continue to bring you more of the Pirates content you love. Thanks again for all your support, and let's go Bucks.